I grew up in the 1960s watching those TV commercials with those starving kids in Africa who stared recently at the camera with sad eyes and disconnected bellies. And in sixth grade, my clique club teacher, Mr. Colling, had to change the words in the song we were singing. 3 billion people in the world, so 4 billion people in the world, and I was so shocked. I couldn't believe that the population was so big. It's even more shocked because no one else in class had understood by this part. And a couple of days later, I told my results in Holland that because there seemed to be many people in the world for it to handle, that I wasn't going to have any kids. She looked at me and she realized that she was gonna have 3. And I felt pretty alone in my belief. At 37 years later, I still feel pretty alone in my belief, and I still shocked that not more people understood my population grow. And I think it's because as a business, we decided not to talk about it, to kind of tuck it away. And I'm here to untuck it. Modern man first served on Earth 200,000 years ago, and by 1850, we had reproduced so successfully there were 1 billion people on the planet. That means it took 200,000 years for us to reach the first billion people on the Earth, and next billion coming in 100 years. 200,000 years to get to the first billion, 100 years to get to the second billion. Now, we add 1 billion people to the planet every 12 years. And in 2011, the world population reached 7 billion people. Now, these samples come about because of improvements in agriculture and medicine. Because of as a species, we are a biology success story. Survival of the fittest, we have survived. We also release a success story, we have for and multiply. Now we have to stop or it will be our downfall. To give you an idea of how fast population grows, Bangladesh had a hurricane that killed 139,000 people. How long did it take Bangladesh to replace those deaths with 139,000 new births? 2.5 weeks. Now the world population is growing at just 1% a year, which may not sound like very much, but 1% of recent billion is actually a big number. It means that every day we add 220,000 people to the planet every day, and this is unsustainable. Which means at the same point the world population is going to stop growing. The question is how? Will it stop growing because of famine, disease, over resources, or will it stop growing because people choose to have smaller families? By smaller families, I mean one-child families. This is why people start getting nervous talking about overpopulation and population is basically scared that I'm going to take away their rights to have children. But I don't want to touch people's rights away. I want to give people rights. Forcing people to have fewer children does not work. In fact, the fastest and most efficient way to stabilize the world population is to send girls to school and to empower women and give everyone access to education on birth control. And those are good things. And as a culture, we need to emphasize the benefits of having one kid family so people will too have fewer kids. Because for thousands of years, we've been inculcated with this ethic that big families are happy families, and only children are only children. Couples like myself, like my husband, plan who have children not to have kids, with a childless instead of child-free. And myself, several times, I have been accused of being selfish because of my decision not to have children. And all this makes sense when it was important for us to recreate for survival, but now For our survival, we have to not procreate. We have to change and require our biology and our culture to recognize the benefits of one-child family because right now it's negative. For example, with the country's population falls, the economic doom and gloom in media because capitalism is based on internal growth. Capitalism depends on more and more consumers. So yeah, when population lowers, the economy will suffer. That is will suffer less than it will no more oil and food and water because there are 10 billion people on the planet in 40 years, which is what the UN is projecting. Now you might be thinking, okay, this population is so troublesome, but we should be having the babies. We are smart and we're educated, and we listen to TED Talks, and we can afford kids that hack. Our earth strength, they may say the word. Even my mom says, Alexander, you are the good mother, and your kids, they were wonderful. And they might be wonderful. They would also be wasteful because North Americans use 32 times the resources as someone from developed countries, so it's even more important that we use monofamilies. For example, some of the United States on average use 176 gallons of water a day, compared to the average person from Africa who usually use 5 gallons a day, and it's just not good for poor countries. So we here in the United States, we use twice the energy as someone from France or England or Japan. So there are lots of countries that higher facility than that we do here. But we are tend to aspire to have one child family, especially those of us living here. Maybe you thinking, well, don't worry Alexander, technology will save us. And yet, it's possible that we may be able to eat a few more years resources because of some new inventions or technologies. But in the end, even if we can fit and house 14 million people, what would their life be like? I mean, the population is gonna having to stop, and why to stop now? Instead of wishing, even the invention or technology will save us. That doesn't even exist, and we're not even sure works. So for everyone to have a quality of life, the number of humans on Earth needs to go down. And I believe that it needs to go down to 2 billion people, which sounds radical because there are 7 billion people today. But it's actually the world population of just 80 years ago. So let's change our idea of what the ideal family looks like. One is a beautiful number. Let's not be afraid to talk about our population because it's not about talking rights for right from people. It's giving opportunity for women, children, and future generations. And lastly, let's be part of the solution. And choose from now on to reinforce no more than one child ourselves. Thank you.